Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another edition of VNA Sports Talk. And today I want to talk about the Giants roster. Now, I'm not going to do a full 53-man roster prediction, who's going to make, who's not, but I just kind of want to discuss it a little bit, position by position. And I'll start quarterback. Daniel Jones, number one. I was going to try to make a joke. It's not like, oh, yeah, he's not going to make the roster. What if Joe Judge, thinks Colt McCoy is better, and then he just starts him instead? No, Daniel Jones is the guy. We all know. It's obvious. He's getting all the first-team reps. I don't know why I just had to say that. Then, with a little bit of controversy here, we know Alex Tenney is going to get cut. We pretty much know that. Franchise leader in completion percentage, but he's going to get cut. Colt McCoy and Cooper Rush. Here's my thought process. So, what is the goal of having a backup this year? We know Joe Judge doesn't want a teacher. Alex Tenney, gone. That doesn't really, make that much of a difference. Cooper Rush knows the system well, so if he comes in, he could win. We want a guy who's going to come in and win. Colt McCoy has looked really impressive. Here's my dilemma right here. Do you bring in Colt McCoy who can win a couple of games, or do you keep a guy Cooper Rush who can win multiple games as well, or you just keep Colt McCoy? He's been in the league for years. I think if Daniel Jones is out for 3-4 weeks, I think we can win two games there. And what would be the benefit of having Cooper Rush? I would say he knows the offensive system. Maybe he can be a wild card. Maybe he doesn't have a lot of tape, so he comes in as almost like a Kyle Allen. Like we've seen over the past couple of years, a guy comes in, wins a couple of games, just like wow. But I'm kind of iffy on this. That's kind of my thoughts about it. I think we're just gonna keep McCoy. Who's gonna pick up Cooper Rush? If not, we just put him somewhere else and then pick him up when we need him. So. I think that would be the best option there. As far as wide receivers, there are so many. Why is Derek Dillon not being discussed more? I know he's a little bit raw as far as his, just off the line. He doesn't have the best hand fight check in the beginning. But I think you stick with him. Put him on practice squad. Derek Dillon could be that pace change guy. He has legitimate 4.2 speed. He's going to add to the speed of this wide receiver core. And you take a look at Golden Tate. I don't really love his projections this year. I think he's going to be around 500 to 600 yards. He's going to catch some of those 50-50 balls. That's what he does really well, but he doesn't separate. He's been dealing with some nagging injuries. We saw Sterling Shepard. You have to keep a lot of these guys around. Now, we've seen some of them fade out. I wonder why Derek Dillon isn't getting much hype. It seems like he's making a lot of plays. I think that Derek Dillon, LSU, it may be a thing like, why aren't you getting starting time at LSU? That sort of thing. If you weren't good enough to play at LSU and with all those wide receivers, why are we going to keep you here? You should have more production. But the same thing could be said about Alex Mack and Benjamin Victor in a way. The Ohio State didn't have amazing wide receivers. And LSU did. LSU is known for more for wide receivers than Ohio State. So next guy, Alex Bachman. I don't really know much about him. It seems like he's really working out. I'd put him on the roster. My wide receivers would go as follows. Obviously, you're looking to cut Golden Tate, I think, after this year. But you get your top three wide receivers. And then I would have Corey Coleman because he can also contribute on special teams. That's a popular opinion by a lot of Giants fans. I don't love David Sills. It seems like he's just a flash in the pan guy. It doesn't seem like he's going to be a long-term great player in this league. I don't like the prospects of David Sills, so I wouldn't include him. I'd include a Benjamin Victor because what do you need on this wide receiver core? You need a little bit of size. I'd include him, have him play in and just learn a little bit. Get some other guys on the practice squad, but I think I would include him. I almost think Derek Dillon should be on the practice squad as well. And then I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting somebody. I'll have my wide receivers that I want. I'd rather have one more wide receiver than one more quarterback. I know it's kind of weird to have 7 wide receivers, but a lot of these guys can be special teams contributors. We have a lot of young guys. And also CJ Board. I've heard good things about him as well. So the next position group, you have the guards. I feel so bad. I want Shane Lemieux to get reps. Kevin Zeitler now, he's getting a little bit older, so if he takes a step back this year, I almost want to see Shane Lemieux get reps towards the end of the season. And yeah, that's pretty much all my opinions about the guards. We're going to carry 3 guards this year. I want to keep Chris Slade because every single time I see this guy, he seems technically sound. He seems like a guy that's going to be able to be a guy, maybe on special teams, put him on that offensive line, special teams. You don't want Andrew Thomas, blocking, punts and, doing those types of things. I would include him in a special teams unit. And I would also include, Matt Parrott. Obviously, he's going to be on the team. And Cam Fleming, I think that he's just going to fade out, to be totally honest with you. But you obviously have to include him. And as far as center, it looks like we're going to cut Pulley. I wouldn't I am higher on Pulley than the average person. I don't think he's that bad, but he is pretty expensive. $2.7 million, you get a cut. And then we take a look at, some free agency things this year. You can also make some moves in season, which Dave Gettleman wanted to do. So if you're in like a position and, Sterling Shepard goes down, you can go after a guy, maybe like an Antonio Brown. Not Antonio Brown, but you guys get the point. Be more flexible in the season. As far as defense, I really don't like RJ McIntosh. I don't want him to make the roster. He didn't really have a lot of high effort plays last year. I think he should be gone. Defensive line, I pretty much agree with all the guys we have in now that most people are putting in. Austin Johnson doesn't really have that burst, but he has enough size. I'm not too sure what we're going to do with him. That's kind of my thoughts about that. And then the guy we brought in from Baltimore, who used to play for Baltimore, I haven't seen much about him, so I can't really comment about that. Blake Martinez, I think he's a 1 year. I mentioned this in a previous video. I think he's a 1 year bust type of guy. We're gonna have him for 1 year. We're gonna learn the system a little bit, and then we're gonna have another guy that we've been drafting that's going to come up and into his flesh and whatever you want to say about that. I think we should keep Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown on this roster. I like both of them. I like both of them to be on this roster. Cam Brown has a little bit of Ryan Connolly in him. He has a little bit of O'Shane Ximines. He has that speed, and I think we shouldn't give up on that because he has a high motor. He has high effort. He's a smart player, and I don't think you give up on that. I really don't. I think that this guy can be really good for the Giants in the future, and he could be like a Ryan Connolly. Nobody's really expecting anything, and he really shows out, gets a couple of sacks. Lorenzo Carter, all those guys. Kyler Fackrell, he's going to be a transition guy. Keep him on the roster. We signed him free agency, so obviously it's going to be a huge cap hit. So there's that. As far as the cornerback and the defensive back positions, I like Yadam to start at cornerback. The more I see him, the more I like about him. And he has enough physicality. I think James Bradbury could help him out a little bit. I know the whole thing with teaching, you don't want to teach guys. I think Yadam could be our starting cornerback. How I would do it, Yadam, Bradbury, CB2, CB1, and then have Darnay Holmes in the slot. Then you have Logan Ryan and then Jabril Peppers. I'm like, this is a pretty good defense. Take a look at our defensive line. I'm like, yeah, we have a decent amount of talent. I'm like, I'm not sure if this is just me being a biased Giants fan. You have a bunch of playmakers, guys that are going to be able to get interceptions. We've seen Darnay Holmes be very physical, and we've seen Logan Ryan with 8 turnovers last year, cause. So, I mean, this defense could just cause a lot of turnovers. And I don't think you should give up on a lot of that young talent. As far as any other positions, I don't think I really missed any. Grant Haley, I'm about him. He's a great tackler, but Yadam is a good enough tackler as well, and he does better in pass coverage. Corey Ballantyne, I think, is going to be like that third depth piece right there. And just imagine, remember where we were? Sam Beal opted out. So many players opted out. But that's how I'm feeling generally with the Giants roster right now. I'm not going to predict the 52nd or 51st guy to make the roster. I'm fairly excited about this year. Let me know what you guys think. And agree, disagree with anything. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.